You want to make things fair? I'll show you fair, by user Snot Giggles. A couple of weeks ago my kids and their neighbors decided to have a bake sale. We live in a tourist area with high foot traffic, and the kids make a killing. I tell the kids I ought to charge them for the labor. I said I'd help bake, and ingredients so they learn the concept of net gains, but instead I'll donate to their cause, and just to bring me back the money I lent them to make change. I love seeing the kids be entrepreneurial, work so hard, and get so excited at their success. After a couple of hours, the neighbor's son decides he's bored and wants to go home, so he tells my kid, when you're done, come by and deliver half the money. Mine says, hey, that's not fair, if you're leaving we should split the money now. Mind you, the bulk of their sales was my baking. Neighbor kid gets super pissed, but mine sticks to their guns, they split the money and the kid leaves in a huff. Mine comes in a few hours later, having lugged home all the gear and cleaned up, annoyed that the neighbor kid got annoyed at them. Then I get a knock on the door. It's the neighbor's mom, with the kid, who is still pouting. Mom's holding a receipt. Mom explains that they purchased a bunch of stuff for the bake sale, it cost a lot of money, and it's not fair that my kid is making money off their stuff, and that they should be compensated for what they purchased. The receipt lists a bunch of items I immediately see they didn't use, like 2 boxes of cereal, when they used one, napkins that I'd ended up providing, but whatever. And never mind that her son went home early and left mine to clean up. And never mind that I'd been churning out batches of cookies all morning. I'm irked they've taken what was a fun, cheerful day of kids making money hand over fist, and shown up at my door making me engage in a super awkward conversation because they assume their kid can't be wrong. So I say, of course, and fetch my receipts. I sit down and, in front of them, and out loud, calculate the cost of lemonade, and cups used. I calculate the cost of flour, sugar, chocolate chips, vanilla and butter per batch of cookies, multiplied by the number of batches made. I toss in the baking soda for free, so generous. I even subtract the value of leftover cookies. Did I mention I made a lot of cookies? The neighbor kid has to fork over $23. They got pretty quiet all of a sudden. I thanked the lady for making sure things were fair, and offered her a plate of cookies to take home. She declined. The end. Forget everything about this place? A malicious compliance over a decade in the making, by user wosk3w3dap00ch. TLDR, CEO of old company cheaped out on client solutions and employee compensation, tells me to forget everything when I leave. Over 10 years later, tells me to help him with the same clients, but I forgot everything since then. Many years ago, I worked for a little company. CEO was a miser of the first order. We needed image hosting for a large client account, and CEO was unwilling to pay for maybe $2,000 to $3,000 in annual image hosting fees at the time, even though the company made millions off of the deal. Me being an enterprising individual, I figured out a way to host the images on Flickr. I saved the login information in a physical notebook and kept informing them that this is a house of cards and we really need to switch to a professional service. Several months later, I was promoted and asked for a raise to go with my promotion. CEO said no, all promotions and raises required CEO sign-off. I tried negotiating, but CEO said no, and to leave if I didn't like it. So I left. CEO told me to forget everything related to the job here and he'd sue me if I did anything with the client accounts afterwards, i.e. sabotage or steal clients. I told him I'm leaving all my knowledge behind in the notebook in my final email to him, my manager, and BCC'd my personal email. In this email, a full inventory of what I left behind, invoices, contracts, etc., including this entry. Personal notebook, account notes and reference material, including image hosting logins, for ____________________________ accounts, keep for reference. Recently, I received a professional networking site message from CEO, telling me to help them with my old accounts or he'll sue me. Apparently, Flickr changed their terms of service and the images were deleted. In over 10 years, nobody updated any documentation, or the image hosting. Nobody bothered checking the email account either, that was used to log into Flickr account. I told him that I cannot help. Per his request, I forgot everything I knew about his company and anything I knew was in that notebook I left him over 10 years ago. Seriously though, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, technical details from that long ago, I just laugh. Edited to add, thank you all for the awards, and messages. I can't possibly respond to all of them, but I hope you all enjoyed the absurdity of it. Natural Occurring Colors, by user cinnamon_gin. In the early 2000s, I worked at a Canadian casino. The place had so many ridiculous rules, including some very particular rules about makeup. The makeup rules were as follows. 1. No fake eyelashes. 2. No fake fingernails or fingernail extensions. 3. No makeup that is not a natural color. The natural color one confused me. What is deemed natural? Who decides what is and isn't natural? I asked my manager for clarification, but she couldn't give me any. Just keep it natural. Use natural occurring colors and you'll be fine. This did not sit well with me. Cue malicious compliance. My aunt has her master's in environmental science. I went to her house one evening and picked her brain about natural occurring colors. She informed me that, scientifically, natural occurring colors are colors that can be found directly in nature. She even showed me a textbook that directly spoke about natural occurring colors. I borrowed the textbook and highlighted the paragraphs that specified this. Keep in mind, this was well before you could just Google something. The only way to back up the claim was to carry that 750-page textbook to work with me. My next shift, I went all out. Green eyeliner, eggplant-colored eyeshadow, yellow nail polish on one hand and mango-colored on the other hand. I hit the floor to work, and within the first few minutes, I get hauled into my manager's office. "OP, what do you think you're doing? You cannot wear those colors. You know our policy states natural occurring colors only when it comes to makeup. Head to the staff bathroom immediately and remove it." Wordlessly, I headed to the staff bathroom. But instead of taking the makeup off, I went to my locker, grabbed the textbook and marched back to my manager's office. "Excuse me, manager? I am wearing natural occurring colors. Here, look at this textbook that specifically states what natural occurring are, by definition." I watched her face change as she read the book. First she looked pissed, then worried, and then finally resigned herself to what was happening. "OP, do you really need to be that type of person? Me, the type that follows the rules? I thought that's what you wanted me to do." She asked me to head back to the floor. For the remaining time I was employed there, I wore whatever color makeup I wanted, and so did almost all of my co-workers. They tried coming out with new rules but could never get the wording right. Stupid rules. Malicious compliance for the win. Clean my room? On it, by user Tabaxadruid. My mom loves to tell this story about when I was 5 or so. She told me to clean my room. I didn't. After a few times of me ignoring her, she said, "If you don't clean your room, I'll clean it. And if I clean it, I'm throwing away anything that isn't put away properly." Well, that got my attention. I went to my room for a while, then came back and announced, "Okay mommy, you can clean now. I've put away anything I care about." To be honest, I don't remember doing it, but I'm pretty proud of tiny me. Mom thinks it's pretty hilarious that she got outsmarted by a child. EDA, wow, this blew up. I'm loving all the stories of other kids maliciously complying, lol. You, and your kids, are all excellent. I'm trying to get through them all because it's truly a delight. Also, because some people have mentioned it, this was not a plan by my mother to declutter my room. She really did think that threat would get me to pick up my stuff. Besides, my mom is more of a pack rat than I am. Cutting travel costs the wrong way, by user Finny Inc. This is from about 15 years back. I was working in Brussels but had to be in the head office in Frankfurt quite a bit. Now there are 3 ways to get from my home to Frankfurt, which is about 200 m/320 km by car, by train, by plane. I was already told I couldn't use my car because they would have to pay me a pretty decent amount per km driven. So I used to go by high-speed train. Very easy, I would walk to my station, take a train to the HST station, take the HST to Frankfurt, take the S-Bahn, tram, to my hotel and workplace. The only luxury I afforded was a first-class ticket because the first time I did this I had a second-class ticket, found a woman and a toddler in my reserved seat that made a complete mess and refused to move, so I ended up standing for almost an hour in the little open space at the end of the wagon. Also, when ordered in advance the price difference wasn't even that large. Like €20. Okay. We're almost a year later. I'm still zipping between the 2 cities by train in first class when I get a mail from HR informing me I'm violating the travel rules and they won't pay back my expenses next time. I ask them what the rules are. The reply I get is a link which says, either a second-class train ticket or an economy flight. I ask them if exceptions can be made. They reply, no. So the next time they expect me in Frankfurt I book a plane ticket. Which is, because it's between Brussels, capital of the EU, and Frankfurt, European Central Bank, hilariously expensive. On top of that, as per the travel rules I add a cost per km for driving my own car to the airport and back, the parking fee for 5 days and an S-Bahn ticket. In all I had spent about 5 times more than the most expensive train ticket to that date. I received my exception to travel in first class about a week later.